Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. It's a day. I won't say it's a great day because, well, it's not, but that's not your problem, it's mine. Welcome to life. We're hoping to get pYanodon's Mk2 soon because that will result in actually being able to do the Relasia, or was it Kickout? I forget which one was which. I think it was Relasia. Once we have enough Mark IIs, yeah, we need pYanodon's Mk2 to feed this process. So that's gonna take a hot second because we haven't even gotten our first pYanodon's yet. And don't we need, like, how many do we need to start the loop? We need, I think, 2, right? 10 spores. Yeah, we need 2. And we haven't even gotten our first one after more than 500 results. So, like I've said before, I like this mechanic. I do think the variance is a bit high for my taste. I like a little bit of gambling, right? Like, I don't mind a little bit. You know, if you've got something that's like a 10% chance, you know, there's some variance in that, and you need 10 of them. So variance is almost entirely a product of how many results do you need. Like, if you only need 1 success, the variance is always going to be pretty high, almost no matter what the chance is. You know, if the chance is something like 50%, you might think the variance isn't that high, but it's like, well, there's still some people that are going to have 4 failures and then 1 success, so it took them 5, you know, coin flips, so to speak. And other people will succeed on the first. And that's a difference of 400%, right? It goes from 1 item to 5 items. That's a 5 times multiplier. That's a huge amount of variance that can happen. Now, granted, it's only like 1 out of 32 people that happens to, or whatever, 1 out of 16, I don't know. But the point is, like, variance is always high when you only need a few successes, especially 1 success. So what I'd prefer is, if I don't even know the best way to do it, I think it would be fairly simple to just have this recipe right here require maybe 5 pYanodon's Mk2 to make 25 pYanodon's spores over, you know, 25 seconds. So the exact same recipe for most intents and purposes, but that way, because it requires 5 successes, then they could boost up this chance to 1%, right? And then the variance would drop lower because now, you know, far more people get somewhere near the middle. It lowers the standard deviation, to use other terms. Variance is the, you know, square root of standard deviation. Standard deviation is variance squared. Wait, am I saying that backwards? Oh, I just disconnected those. That's interesting. Sorry, 1 second. I'm distracted now. Oh, and that just magically connected to hydrogen accidentally? Great. Oh, that needed to... Interesting. Okay, we didn't get water in that, right? Okay, so wait, what am I doing here? How do I actually fix this? This needs to... It can't be a 3-way pipe because I don't have those. So what I need to do is connect this out, weirdly enough, which is a very odd way to do it, but that's how I've got to do that. Anyway, let's see. No, variance. The square root of variance is standard deviation. Yeah, that's how that works. Anyway, I'm missing some Relasia flowers. So what's the easiest way to get those? Honestly, I think manually, because again, like, once I have tier 2 Relasia, I'm not going to be using tier 1 Relasia, so I don't anticipate ever needing tier 1s again. So why don't I just go grab those in person? And yeah, we're working on Tufra, did we say in this episode? We already did Kickout. I think Tufra is the only thing left. I could set up Guar But guar is used in mostly drilling fluid as far as I know. And Fagno food, we do unlock them in py2, but that's a ways from now, I think. We can make some extra green refined concrete with it, and then we make the bean seeds, which are used in some enriched biomass, guar gum, a good starch recipe. Whoa, 100 guar bean seeds though? I don't actually know if that's good. Yeah, and the guar gum is used in a bunch of foods, and the drilling fluids 2 through 4. So it is as I remembered. And then I'm gonna grab 2 of these bad boys. And that's all we need. I will play the part of logistics bot. Go back to our upmarking. Someone left a comment on a couple videos ago and said, "What's upmarking?" And I just couldn't help myself, and I had to start with, "Nothing much, how about you?" Which it doesn't even make sense, but it's just close enough to that classic joke that I had to do it. I was legally obligated to do it. I could not do it. Anyway, you can hate me for that or love me for that. Either way, I respect you. Alright, so that now needs to request on channel 1. Get rid of that, and we need Relasia seed and Relasia, which I don't think I've requested yet. Is this thing getting full? 132 stacks, 99 stacks? We can do 2 more? Perfect. Relasia seed. Relasia. I know I could request just Relasia and make the seeds on site. Whatever. This works fine too. Because it's not... I think the seeds are denser, actually. Is that true? Are the seeds denser? Wait. Yes. Because 50 Relasia, which is a full stack, makes 80 Relasia seeds, which is less than a full stack. So technically the seeds are denser. But you can't make the flowers from the seeds, you can only make the seeds from the flowers. So I guess it depends on what your needs are. Alright, so Relasia seeds for you. And Relasia for you. Okay. That should handle that. The urea production. Perfect. It was very spotty for a very long time, but we're picking it up. We've got a baseline of 225 a minute that should help our base actually run properly. Because there are things that need urea other than ammonia, right? Ammonia is like the final sink, final trash, so to speak, for urea. But there are other things that need urea, like fertilizer, that I really would like to actually have run all the time, whether I'm getting plenty of ammonia or not. So yeah. Now, I think it is time for an exciting project, which I'm going to do manually because it's more exciting that way. I am going to go populate Seaweed Mark III. We're going to do it. And I might reduce that down a little bit now to just 200. Let me think. So we're going to need more. So 200 will make 40 Mark IV modules, but Mark IV modules aren't... Here's an interesting balancing question. Should Mark IV modules have a bigger boost? And I mean, there's the same question for Mark III modules from Mark II. Should that be like 350%, and that should be like 550%? Because the relative boost from 3 to 4 is very small. It's only 1/3 faster. And if you look at the cost, each module's pretty pricey. I don't know what clean organic pulp is. The other things aren't that expensive. It's just, if you think about the number of them that you need, it does add up. So I don't know. It does feel a bit interesting that the cost is that high, given it's such a small boost to go from tier 3 to tier 4. But I guess it's one of those things that if you're rich and you got nothing else to do, you might as well do it. Make all your seaweed a little faster for, you know, no other cost to yourself. I don't know. But there's a decent chance, I'm guessing, that a lot of people beat the game with only Mark 3 seaweed. Boom, boom, boom. So it goes from crafting speed of 1 to 2.8. I mean, it's actually like a speed that feels like you could watch it complete one without it taking forever. That is awesome. And that's just the water recipe. There are still better recipes for seaweed that someday I might use. But doesn't it need limestone? What's the other recipe? Yeah, it needs limestone, so I'm a little bit iffy about that. And saline water, which I don't know, that feels like a pretty big cost. Even though saline water is sort of cheap, it's sort of not. I don't know. It doesn't really seem good to me. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like just building a bigger seaweed plant is better. I'm not 1,000,000% sure of that, but I'm struggling to imagine adding in that much limestone and all of the requirements to get that much saline water is better than just doubling the size of this, right? Like, because that's pretty much all it does is go twice as fast, because this is 0 input. It's technically more than twice as fast. It's 2.5 times faster because of the double the amount, but also 25% faster. But yeah, then you're using limestone all over the place. And how much limestone would we need if, you know, we're making 34 seaweed, so that's 3.4 limestone. And limestone soil extractors only make 0.2 a second, if I'm remembering correctly. 0.4 a second. So that would be... Did I do that math right? 34... would be 3.4. So we would need 7, 8, 9 limestone soil extractors. And then for the saline water, we would need like 150 per second. No, because for this number of facilities, well, I guess I'm thinking for the same amount of seaweed. Yeah, we would need about 150 saline water a second, which would be 15 salt a second, which would be 1 salt mine running. I don't know. I mean, it's like, it's right on that verge of crazy versus not crazy. I guess if you had an open salt mine and you could just directly plug in the salt mine to the saline water, because how much... Yeah, I mean, you could do it, I feel like. Basically 1 salt mine, 7 soil extractors, and then you only need half as many of these. I'm ignoring the CO2, that's basically free. Also, I am going to copy that and let the bots figure that part out. The last 40. Sweet! That's our first official flora upmarking, I think, right? I guess we did some sap earlier, technically, but only a tiny amount. And we did Vraux, but that was fauna. This is the flora. And... Hopefully that actually makes a pretty big difference. Oh wait, we actually have to, hold on. we have new things we have to do because of this. Let's see, I'm going to... First of all, I'm going to boost these by 1. Because I do think this is a very high rate item now. Secondly, I'm going to extend this by a bit. And then we can boost up this by another. So what do we have? 60 plus 62. So we're at 122. So I can fit another 70 stacks, which would be 3,500. So I'll go to 5,100, leave some extra space there for more Fawoji. Do another 10 stacks of Fawoji. So what is that? 8,500, 85 times 2 is 170. Okay, we should have some space left over. Okay, it's good that there's only one train with this stop. That means we're not still too slow. So the next thing we need to do... Hey, we got our tree seeds! We got our tree seeds! Yay! At 306, we got 3 results. That is pretty huge. Tree seeds, 306 for 3. I'll have to figure out later what chance that is, but that's great. Anyway, what am I doing right here? So right here we are, well, actually I might need to do 2 things, because that is now 9 per second, so I cannot put them all on one side. So what I need to do is switch you to left, you to left, okay. And now I think to copy those inserter settings, I can just do this because all the buildings have the exact same settings. Oh, maybe not. Oh no, I was just on the wrong square. Okay, so that should copy the inserter settings. So now we've got that and this. And this should be able to handle all the, is that right? No, because we have 34 a second. For now, I'll just settle for 30 a second, I think. I know we're technically under filling a little bit here. Oh, and then the water. Do we have the right amount of water? 695. Yeah, I did that math right. Okay. And then, actually, I have to do one of these. Does that reach? It does. Okay, so there is all the flippin' moss. Or seaweed, sorry, not moss. I wish we had Mark III moss modules. That would be dope. Although, imagine how much stone that's gonna consume. If I had Mark III moss modules, I might go 0 input moss completely. Because at some point, it feels like the 0 input might be better still. Though it does use a decent amount of chlorinated water, but do I really care about that? I don't know. Someday I might regret that chlorinated water choice. I hope not. But it's going to use a decent amount of plastic at some point, and I have no choice but to do it. I guess maybe like the tier 3 recipe. Oh yeah, the tier 3 recipe is going to be a winner. Because look, it changes from... Yeah, we get 50% more moss for our stone by only adding in a little bit of coarse fraction. So by the time we have chem science, that coarse fraction is going to be just a tiny smidge of iron. And we're going to be making, you know, 50, 70 iron plates a second. So like that amount of iron's not going to matter. And it'll save us a ton of stone. And so the recipe, the turd recipe with chlorinated water makes 34 moss in 45 seconds. That's almost 1 moss a second per building. That's crazy. And that's not counting Mark II moss modules or tier 2 moss buildings. So that's pretty dope. Pretty dope indeed. By the way, I meant to mention this at the beginning of the episode. It's going to be a shorter episode today. I've just got a lot of real life stuff going on. Again, thank you guys for your patience. I know the channel's been a little bit different lately because of all of my real life stuff. There should be a channel update coming out sometime here in the next week that will shed a little bit of light on what's going on. So thank you guys for your patience with me. All right, so you're done. 316, well, I guess I already wrote it down. Let me get before I forget, the hypergeometric calculator on this bad boy. No, it's not hypergeometric. I keep doing that because in Magic the Gathering, when you want to know how unlucky you got, you pop out the hypergeometric calculator. I only drew 2 lands after drawing 14 cards. What are the odds of that? I have 40 lands in this commander deck. You know, that sort of thing. And so you need the hypergeometric for that, but for this, it's just binomial distribution because every event is independent and there's no... Whereas, like, in a deck of cards, it's not independent, because once you draw a card, that affects the chances of future successes. Anyway, probability of success on a trial is 0.005, number of trials was 306, number of successes is 3, and what I'm doing is I'm looking at the probability that I have 3 or greater successes after 306 trials. And the probability, the percentile there is 19.84 percentile. Actually, I should look at the other... I look at the unluck. The unluck is what we've been measuring. So I should look at the probability that it's less than 3. What are the probability that I would still be failing at 306 trials? And that is 80.16. So we are in the top... Basically, we're in the top 20% for luckiest. We're more lucky than unlucky here. We're actually quite lucky. Like... 80% of players essentially are worse than this, is what that means. So we got a very good result here. Now, how do I actually make tree Mark II? Now that we're here, I need to look at the whole tree seedling Mark II thing. I remember it loops and stuff, but I don't remember exactly how it goes. So we need ground samples, which is kind of annoying. I guess I can request those. Are those needed for anything else? Well, they're needed for phase 2 moss as well. But look at all those ingredients. I'm definitely doing this over on the west side because we need solidified Sarcoris for this. So I'm going to be doing that over by my science, not here. Which kind of makes me wonder, should I do this over by science as well? So we need 1 tree seed, so moss and ground sample to make the seedlings, which do decay, by the way, so I need to make sure I do correct circuitry on that. And once we make a seedling, we need 3 of those planter boxes and muddy sludge to make a Mark II tree. And then the Mark II tree gets thrown into the wood chipper to make 5 seedlings. And we just loop that. So I need a wood chipper. I need a fastwood forestry, which this is a 30-second craft time, by the way. And fastwood forestry, most buildings are 100%. I just want to double check when they're filled with tier 1 modules, and they are. So it would actually take 30 seconds to do that, is what that means. So that gets me 2 per minute, which is 120 per hour. Yeah, that's plenty. That's more than enough. And then the seedlings are made in a botanical nursery. Okay, so I need to pick all this up, basically, because this is no longer needed forever. But what about tree mark 3? Hold on. Tree seedling mark 3. It needs cDNA, moss gene sample. Oh my god, we have to roll Mark 2 trees. Yeah, it starts to get expensive. I think these start to get a little expensive, especially because the benefit is even lower, right? Because going from Mark 2 to 3 is only a 50% speed boost. And the price to get this done is absurd. I assume it's the same where we need 3. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, it looks like we need 3. Yeah. So, again, you need 3 successes, which is an average of 600 rolls. And again, that's just an average. You might need 1,000 rolls of this. So we're talking 5,000 moss gene samples, 3,000 cDNA. Now, some might argue that as a one-time cost, that's still cheap, but I don't know. That's getting pretty high up there. Also, 200 anthracene is no joke. Train is stuck. Oh no, an ash train. It's almost done though. I wonder where that came from. Huh. I wonder if it just came from really far away. Man, the ash. I might just change the number a little bit more. Where is that number? Is it here? Map settings. Yeah, 660. Let's go to 690. 11 and a half minutes for the timeout. Anyway, do I need to keep this is what I was trying to figure out. Probably not. No, it'll need to be a new setup anyway. And this will give me room so I can start a new setup over here of whatever. And then I'm just gonna put all this in storage, whatever the heck I'm holding here. I'll keep the planter boxes because those are actually needed for whatchamacallit, the Mark 2s. I might as well start out with them. And then I can delete the planter box request, I think. Yeah, I need to make a section that's like got biosamples and fertilizers and plant, like a section to make all these initial plants, because we're gonna need to make Grod, Renea, Yotoi all in the near-ish future, and Guar. So we're gonna need biosamples, cDNA, planter boxes all ready to go. So we can delete this planter box request, delete that filter, take these out, take those in my inventory. And now we've opened up another slot on that bad boy. Let's head over to our py2 Research Center. Well, I call it the py2 Research Center. I guess it's all colors of science. We seem to be short on animal samples. But this seems to be running. I guess we're getting 32 science a minute. We're getting more than expected. Gosh, this seaweed is taking forever. Oh, we're getting 32 a minute because it's doing logistics. So we're really only getting 16 a minute of logistic science groupings, which is just about right. It's a little low. It should be 36. I guess it's just the sine wave. So now it's saying 35. Now it's saying 36. Now it's saying 35. Nah, it seems a little on the low end. No, now it says 37. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, blocking trains. Okay, so over here, we need to take advantage of, what was it? The cDNA? Oh, I forgot we need a fastwood forestry. Wow, I'm out of steel. That's interesting. Why don't I add a group for materials? Steel plate, iron plate. I don't feel like I'm ever gonna grow out of needing steel, iron, and copper. I'm always gonna need some of those. I'm gonna trash those, trash that. Trash these. I think that's pretty good for trashing. Everything else is fine. Okay, and then we'll wait for that to arrive. I can walk over here if I want. Start setting things up. Okay, I'll put this as far away as I can get it. And we want Mark II tree. Tree seedling Mark II comes out of a bot nurse. Which makes tree seedling Mark II. Where is it? Oh, is it this one? No. Oh, tree seedling. Right. Not. I was looking for the tree seeds. Wood processing unit. Which needs logs. Goes here. That guy makes tree seed Mark II. Okay, so that is currently a direct feed into that. That should be fine. This building will only run when we have planter boxes and muddy sludge. And we want tree Mark II. So I need a decider here that runs green signal equals 1. Oop, 1. Okay, so green equals 1 if, and we'll read the contents of all this. Read contents. Don't include in crafting. We just want to see what's ready to go here. So we need muddy sludge. Greater than 200. Liner box greater than 1. We can just copy them over. Okay. So we want tree Mark II less than... Is 150 good? These have 10 module slots. I think I want to go to 200 here. You know what? Let's just let it run for a while. Let's go to 300. We'll thank ourselves later. So tree Mark III less than 300. Muddy sludge greater than 200. I guess we want greater than or equal to... And planter box greater than or equal to 1. And now we need a Get power over here. Okay. And now we need to import those things. So what I am a little worried about is ground samples being too slow. Where am I making those? I'm making those right here. Oh, interesting. It seems like poor alien samples are the problem too? Or are those like exactly keeping up? I can't tell. What's too slow here? Is this too slow? Hold on. Let me just make sure we didn't screw this up. So for poor alien samples, those only go into green science, right? They're not. No, they're used in the good alien samples too. Did I factor that in? Uh-oh. I may not have factored that in. How many per good? 1 per good. So we need point. Well, I guess it's 0.117 poor alien samples. Why is that saying 067, by the way? Oh, wait. What did I do here? Why is this the wrong number? There we go. Okay. We'll add one above it, and then we'll add one below it, and it is 1.167. Ah, dag nabbit. Dag narbit, even. So that actually means we need another one of these. Annoyingly, how am I gonna get this set up? There's like no room for inserters here. Okay. We'll keep these wired up with the same logic. But then that has to go there. What is that one even doing? What? What is this one doing? Oh, that's just a long inserter. That was, okay. That one I can delete. It's this one that's going onto this belt. For some reason I thought that one was going onto that belt and I was confused. Okay, no, we're fine. Okay, so then this guy puts back into the, okay. So what we can do, oh, that's annoying. Put that there. Oh, I'm glad that didn't crash the game. The whole channel 1 thing. It is on channel 1. Oh, I need to make it first. Then I need to set it to channel 1. Then I need to put the request in it. Then I can delete that. Then I can put this here and load the recycled spoiled ones back in. Then I can load the actual by the way, I'm running out of undergrounds here. Bots, help me out. Then we can load the actual whatchamacallits in on this guy. But these are gonna get spoiled ones too sometimes, which means I guess this can just be a straight belt. Which means we gotta filter here. Okay. Oh no. Wait. We're okay. We're okay. That can do long boy, and that can do long boy. Perfect. And are we out of petri dishes? Where's my petri dish request? Is it in here? It's in this one. Oh, they just arrived. Okay. I think we need more. Total stacks 152. Oh no, did I measure out wrong? Let's just go to 23 stacks. I think we're still safe. I forget how the math worked on all of this. It was weird math. It was like each item, what was it? Each item adds one more, adds 5 more stacks potentially than we said it did. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plus 55 then extra stacks. So that's 210 basically. Which then is still easily gonna fit. Okay, we're fine. Alright, anyway, that's that. These are running only when we need them to. That should make this work. Where's the bone meal coming from and why don't we have enough? Is the inserter fast enough? Looking at the rates for that. We need bone meal plus Relasia seeds is 0.8. Yeah, yellow inserter should be fast enough for that. Yeah, inserting stuff should be more than fast enough. Okay, well, I'm glad we checked on that. Now looking at the ground sample, because that's the piece we actually care about here, we've got lots of extra ground samples, only 0.11. So what we'll do is we'll maybe measure what am I doing? Provider chest. And I'll only run that if this guy, read contents, has ground samples. So you're only enabled if ground sample in the other one is greater than 15. That's the amount we need, right? Yeah. And then this runs and fills this with ground samples. We'll change it to channel 1. And then that'll carry the ground samples over here. Wow, all of that to move some ground samples. Now we should already have moss in a provider, so that's great. And let's get a requester chest going. I guess I will need some initial trees. And then the planter boxes. It's only 1 planter box per tree. Do I really need a whole train for that? like over the course of 600 trees, we're only going to need 200 logistics bots trip across the entire base. That just doesn't feel that expensive. So what I'm going to do, because we're actually making some in the auto mall. That means we just have some planter boxes available. I'm just going to request planter boxes on channel 0. I know that's a weird thing to do. I don't normally do logistics across the base. But in this case, I think it's a low enough amount that this is an acceptable usage of cross-base logistics bots. Especially because this is not something that runs consistently. Although, eventually, we're gonna need 1 million of these to make Mark III. Well, 600 of them. Expected value 600. But there's a good chance we need more than that. I guess it's slightly less than 600 because it does give you a 50% shot at a Mark II seed back, which is what, 1/6 of what it spent? Because what is it? Three seeds makes 3 seedlings, which makes 1 tree. Is that right? How's that work again? Yeah, 3 seedlings makes a tree. But the tree is the expensive part in the first place. The seedling plus the tree is what spends the resources. But the tier 2 is pretty cheap. It's the Mark III that's actually... Well, no, it's just the rolling for Mark III that's expensive. Okay, anyway. All that to say, how many Mark II trees are we actually going to need? Well, it's not quite 600 because we get 1/6 back of the ingredients. So it's really expected value of 500, roughly. Still a lot, but 500 planter boxes over the course of however many hundreds of hours we're doing this is nothing. And then for the muddy sludge, this feels like a make it on site situation. I think, here I said this was going to be a short episode. I really should be going, but I really want to finish this. So here we are doing the thing we always do. Soil extractor. Oh, that's so annoying. It's just 1 tile off from being able to direct insert into the building, but also have the water connection. I guess we'll do it like this. And then just put the water there. Okay. I really should do this correctly. That's where you get rogue connections that you really don't want. Okay. Soil. Okay. Water. Muddy sludge in. Planter boxes are done. Tree seedling Mark II needs to request ground samples and moss on channel 1, which I don't actually know if we have the channel 1 coverage over there. We do not. So this needs to be a channel 1 roboport. And I can build that myself. And then we should be good. To change this to channel 1. It already is. Click, click, click. Click, click. Those always get fed into there, so we have a backlog of seedlings. Oh, and this needs water too. So we do need 1 more. Okay. All right. I want to say that does it. Why don't we have ground samples yet? Is this just like somehow the exact rate it needs to be that it's too slow? According to this, the grounds, no, the soil's only 0.438 for what we need for science, so that should be more than what we need already. Oh yeah, there's some ground samples. Oh, it's not on the right channel. There we go. Channel 1. And I'll make that a fast inserter too. Okay, there we go. So that's done. We just need to grab the tree seeds. So we will do that. Not get run over. And then we will call that an episode. So this will net us infinite Mark II trees. Which, this one feels like maybe more work than it was worth. Because again, the bulk of our tree build here is not actually forest trees. So like, you know, needing 3 forest trees instead of 6 isn't that different. I guess it starts to maybe open the door towards direct insert builds though. Because I need so few forest trees. It might actually be possible. Wait, am I holding? Where did the Mark III seeds go? I put them in here. There they are. Do I have any Fawoji yet? Please tell me I have one. I have none still. We're at 600 and almost, basically 650 with 0 successes. That's not good luck. We only need 2. Here. That is not good luck at all. So yeah, again, like an alternative there would be to require 6 of them, but make the probability 1.5% per roll. You know, and then all of a sudden, or sorry, wait, am I saying that wrong? Yeah. No. Wait. Require 6 of them, but make the probability 3 times as high. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you still have to do just as many crafts. Because you get 3 times more, but you need to do 3 times as many crafts because you need 3 times as many for the recipe. Okay, and then this inserts from here. And then this inserts over. And this is only gonna run when it has the green signal, which it does. Look at that. Our first Mark II tree is on its way. How exciting. And then it will immediately get chopped into bits. That's funny. And then those bits will get turned into more little seedlings. And then those will get turned into more trees. And the cycle continues. And we net... Eventually we net trees out of it. Also, I guess I lied. When I said it's 1 planter box per tree, it's not. Because it requires 3 tree seedlings, and it only makes 5 seeds. So 60% of what we produce goes back into being ingredients. So that means the cost is much higher. It's actually 2.5 planter boxes per tree, if I'm doing my math right. Because we only get 40% of this is actually tree that we can keep, so to speak. Another way to think about it is if you craft this 10 times, you get 10 Mark II trees, right? But how many trees do you have to throw back into the wood chipper? 6 of them. So you only really got 4 trees out of the process. But we did it. So it's 2.5 planter boxes each. That's still only 1 logistics bot trip per tree. I think that's fine. I'm gonna allow that. And these don't decay, right? Neither of these do. Awesome. Well, we've automated Mark II trees fully. That feels really good. Have another Flora bites the dust, and I guess Tufra is next, and then we're pretty much done at that point, apart from the waiting for other things to complete their gambling. I think there's literally no other plants we have unlocked. I mean, we could make new plants, but not upgrade any plants. Yeah, that's it. Cool. I might move on to actually making Vrooks after that. And then potentially starting to upgrade some animals. Animals are very much worth upgrading. Fish. aren't that crazy to upgrade. I mean, kind of expensive, but we'll get there eventually. The fish food's interesting. We're actually gonna have to... Well, I guess it costs fish. Do we make enough fish food? Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Do we make enough fish food when we make that many fish? We actually don't. So I'm gonna have to kill fish just to make enough fish food to run this. Anyway, alright, as always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see y'all in the next one.